Welcome back to Brandon Sports, everybody. Hope you have an amazing day. I'm here for my Friday Night SmackDown review for December 26, 2025. Before we get into the review, please hit the like button, subscribe button to the YouTube channel for more great content coming up. Now, my overall thoughts on the show was that, again, it wasn't really a great show this week. Again, I know it was taped last week on last Friday. I know everybody got the week off. Actually, they're doing live events right now on a Friday, which is weird, but it is what it is. Doesn't take away from the show not being that good. We saw a title change tonight with Carmelo Hayes and Ian Dragunov, which we're ready to get to. We had a good segment to end the show, but otherwise, this show was not impressive at all. Another tape show, another lackluster show, another show that really didn't really make sense. All in all, it just lacked story. It lacked anything. The great thing about the main event was that it was a promo segment instead of a match, because they put their best match before that main event segment, and they had another match after that, which wasn't good at all, but we'll get to all of that and break it down. We start off the show with Cody Rhodes walking backstage. Commentary welcomes to the show. Cody Rhodes walking backstage. He sees Nick Aldis. He asks Nick Aldis if Drew McIntyre is here yet. Says no. After that, Nick Aldis says to Cody Rhodes that Drew McIntyre has signed the contract. He has to pay his fine and apologize to the referee. And once he does that, Cody Rhodes cannot lay a finger on Drew McIntyre. And if Drew McIntyre gets touched by Cody Rhodes will be stripped of the WWE Undisputed Championship. Cody then says to Nick Aldis, let me know when he gets here. He says, all right. Nick Aldis walks away. He sees The Miz. The Miz complaining about Joe Hendry. Nick Aldis says, don't you have a match to get ready for? He says, yes, but please do not say his name. He says, okay, I'm not going to say his name. The Miz says, no music. Don't say his name and no music. He doesn't say his name. He says, no music and no name for Joe Hendry. And then he winds up saying his name, and then the music plays and say his name, and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. Everybody clap, clap, So then Joe Hendry's out already at the ring, and he faces the camera. We then head to the ring to see Joe Hendry with Akira Tozawa, Otis, and a bunny, and a bevy of potential business clause for her nieces. Joe then does the mean turn, which he turns to the camera. Joe then wishes everyone a Merry Christmas. Joe then says he has decided to give the gift of a holiday song. Miz then interrupts the song and says he isn't going to sing along with Joe Hendry. Joe then says he knows that the Miz is upset because they started the song without him. Joe then says it's time to sing the song again because the Miz is here. Miz then says he wants everyone to shut up since he has raised his hand. Miz then asks if some cheap jingle is going to make him the joke. He then says others have laughed at him and he is chasing legacy. He then says now that John Cena is gone, he has earned the right to be the locker room leader and take this company into the future. Miz then reminds Joe they have a match. Joe then says he knows the Miz is upset. Nick then tells Miz his match is a Miracle on 34th Street fight. Now this is where it just gets flat out boring. I'm going to skip to the end of the match again. I'm not doing play-by-play because it's just a boring match. I don't know why they did this match, a Miracle on 34th Street fight. It makes no sense. I know it's Christmas time, so they do it. They're saying that this is the 12th edition that they've done of this match. I hope this is the last edition that they've done of this. So we get to the end of the match. Everyone's in the ring. Akira Tozawa is inside the ring. Tozawa brings us some cookies into the ring. Miz is surrounded by Joe, hits a fallaway slam. Otis then hits a caterpillar and has a cookie break before hitting the elbow drop. Tozawa then goes up to the top rope. He hits a back senton. The bunny then pulls off his head, but it's basically the costume pulls off his head. It's R-Truth. R-Truth then does the 5-knuckle shuffle, but before he does 5-knuckle shuffle, he says, you can't see me, hits the ropes, and he does a stupid bunny hop, and then does the 5-knuckle shuffle. Joe Hendry then hits the Miz with the guitar and follows up with a standing ovation through the table for the win. By the way, the standing ovation is basically a chokeslam, his move, which, if I'm the company, I'll tell Joe Hendry to stop doing a chokeslam or the standing ovation, because he just doesn't look big enough to do a chokeslam. Like, usually the bigger guys in the company does chokeslams, like Damian Priest, Undertaker, Kane, obviously the Legends, Big Show, do chokeslams, but Joe Hendry doesn't just seem big enough to do a chokeslam, I guess. Like, his size and stature doesn't really call for that, so I would have them stop doing it and try to figure something else out, but it is what it is. So the winner of the match was obviously Joe Hendry. He pinned the Miz 1, 2, 3. After the match, Tozawa, Otis, and R-Truth celebrate with Joe Hendry. They then wave their arms in the air and do the meme turn together. Then they do a second meme turn again. This was absolutely boring. I don't understand why this is on the show. Quite honestly, embarrassing for the Miz. I know the Miz gets a lot of flack for the way he dresses, whatever the case may be, but the Miz has been in the company since 2005. He's been around since 2003 when they were doing Tough Enough. He's been around for a very long time. Even though sometimes I don't like seeing The Miz on TV just because it feels played out, he's still a future Hall of Fame in his business. He's won every single championship in the company, I think except for the World Heavyweight title. But he's won every single championship in the United States. The tag team titles, hopefully he gets these new iteration of these belts, get these new ones. But other than that, he's won every single championship in the company. He's a great representation for the company, and they keep embarrassing him like this. I don't understand why he keeps accepting it. Maybe it is what it is for him at this point. But I know I kind of get on him a lot, but I would like to just have The Miz be treated with a little bit more respect. That's all. But the segment all in all was boring. I don't understand why they would call Joe Hendry up to SmackDown to do this. Hopefully, this is not a call up and it's just him being on SmackDown, and he actually goes to NXT and does something and builds himself up in NXT, and then comes up to the main roster. Because I have no idea why would you bring him up to the main roster. He's known by the TNA audience and NXT audience, but he's not known by the main roster audience. This is why Javon Evans is playing an important piece on the show, because he's being brought up every single week and they're showing his talents while he's still in NXT, becoming a free agent. It's the same thing with Trick Williams. Trick Williams is a free agent, and we'll get to him later, but he was on SmackDown tonight, but he was on NXT. So WWE crowd is getting used to him, so now when he comes up to the main roster, we know who he is. I'm not saying people don't know who Joe Hendry is. I mean, he fought Randy Orton at WrestleMania, so it's not like nobody knows who he is. I just want him to be built up in the WWE system and NXT for a little bit while. He doesn't need it. I know he doesn't need it. But it would just be nice for him to go down and win the NXT championship, you know? Give NXT some more talent down there, because I know they're going to start calling up more people. So why not just keep him down there, be the face of NXT, him and Obafemi for a little bit. Trick Williams, Javon Evans get called up, and then you go from there. Next year you could bring Joe Hendry up by SummerSlam or something like that. So after this, we see Carmelo Hayes, Nathan Frazier, and Axiom talking to the back. Ian Dragunov walks up to everyone. Ian then asks to talk to Carmelo alone. Ian Dragunov then says what they did last week was beautiful. He then says something has been eating him alive. Then says he cannot live the way Carmelo's title match went. Carmelo then says he cannot deal with it either. Ian Dragunov then says the open challenge is closed because they are meeting in the ring tonight for the United States Championship. Carmelo then says he won't miss, which is a catchphrase, and Ian Dragunov tells Carmelo to get ready. This was a nice back and forth. The only thing I didn't like was Faxium. I don't really care about them being backstage. Again, when you make us not care about somebody and continuously have them backstage and not actually in the ring wrestling, not give them character development and be able to push them, it doesn't make any sense as to why we should care about Faxium or Axiom. I want to say Nathan Frazier and Axiom backstage. I just don't care. And also my problem is, if they truly have a problem with Tommaso Ciampa, why not go and actually solve it in the ring? But instead of just standing backstage, it just makes no sense. So next up, we see Drew McIntyre walking in the building. Kathy Kelly stops him to ask him about the stipulation. Drew then says he will discuss the stipulation, but not now. Drew then says he is a bit jet lagged. Drew then says by the end of the night, everyone will have all of their answers. We then get backstage to a promo of Aleister Black. He says, once upon a time there was a man, a very talented man, a man who achieved things so far beyond his wildest dreams that this industry has to offer. Black then says all of a sudden he decided to give all of himself away. Zelina then mentions the Judgment Day, Rhea Ripley, and R-Truth. Black then says you poured your time into everyone else and they took from you rather. Black then says, and come the ones dressed in black. Black then says they are here to recover what you've buried. Black then says the man does not descend into violence, he returns to it. Black then says they stripped you down for 6 months and made you unpredictable and violent. Black then says, still you don't get it. Black then says, you answer to us. After that he says, you aren't hiding from the truth, you couldn't carry it. Then says it ends when he says it ends. Black then says, win or lose, they have changed you. Black then says, man is reminded of who he is. Black then says, if he does not know his purpose, he does not get a second chance. Black then says, it gets ended. This promo absolutely made no sense for me. I didn't care about this not whatsoever. You see I had a hard time reading it because it was just didn't make any sense at all. I told you guys for the past couple weeks, I do not care about this feud. This feud is awful. Again, this feud resonates and goes back to the whole R-Truth thing and how Aleister Black was facing R-Truth, and then they got into it. Then after that, Damian Priest got involved. They've been fighting since then. This is when R-Truth came back in like June or July or August maybe. It's December. It's about to be 2026 and we're still getting this feud. Again, I like Aleister Black. Maybe he can go feud for the United States Championship against Ian Dragunov or Carmelo Hayes. Maybe later on. Damian Priest, as for him, hopefully he becomes world champion, or he contends for world championship at least. And one thing I want to say before I get back to the rest of the show is that Damian Priest did an interview saying that the company basically is sidelining him, or like they're benching him a little bit because they want him to, I guess, preserve himself. And I remember I was watching Vince Russo and Jonathan Coachman. They said basically that translation, that means that creative has nothing for you. And I agree. Damian Priest is very talented. I know he's older, but he's still talented. He still has a lot of years left in the business. And for them to be doing this and treating him this way, instead of giving him a major push, you only working once a week. Listen, I know WWE's doing their holiday tour and the overseas tour in January, but up until then, they're only working once a week. You're only working on Fridays, and if you're not doing press and media, you're getting time off. So this makes no sense. I don't understand. Oh, you don't have anything for me. Then that show is going to 3 weeks. So then what are you going to do next week when there's 3 hours of SmackDown, and I am here covering it after 11 o'clock at night when the show is already this bad? But you don't want to feature him because you want to give him some time. You're only working once a week. This makes no sense to me. This entire feud, again, makes no sense. I wish they would end it. Hopefully next week, when I have a match, it is over. Because we should not have to be sent through this. This is horrible. Again, I like Aleister Black. I like Zelina Vega being his manager now. I like Damian Priest, but this has got to end. It's boring. It makes no sense, and nobody really cares about this feud except for Aleister Black and Zelina Vega. Next up, we get a backstage promo. Byron Saxton's in the back with Jade Cargill. Byron asks her about her issues with the Michin and how it will come to an end. Jade says it will end with a hole in her chest. Jade then says Michin has not confronted her face to face. Jade then says she keeps attacking her from behind. Jade goes on to say, Jade then says that is all she needs to know, or rather he needs to know rather. Jade then says Michin is scared. Jade then says so is B-Fab in the entire locker room. Jade then says she does not need a weapon because she is the weapon. Again, a good backstage promo from Jade Cargill. Her talking into the microphone, actually being confident. I actually like this. Let her talk. And when she takes off the glasses, she has that scar on her eyebrow. Obviously from when Nia Jax threw her into the ring steps. She has a big gash still. I don't know if that scar is going to be there forever. I don't know. But her saying that and then taking off the glasses and seeing the scar, it kind of gives her a certain look. So it's more believable that way. Now, this is the point where I had a problem. Michin then stops by to talk to B-Fab. Right after this promo is over, Jade Cargill walks away. Michin stops to talk to B-Fab. B-Fab says she does not want Michin to get hurt to help her out. Michin then says they can use this to their advantage. Michin then says they are not scared of her. Michin then says, does she think she can walk all over them? Michin then says next week, class will be in session. Now, okay, again, I don't understand why Michin is getting the spotlight in this. It should be B-Fab. She's the one that still needs to develop. Michin's already developed. Let B-Fab develop. Let her be in the ring with Jade Cargill. Let them continue to grow and work on their matches. We already know how Michin can wrestle. We already know all of this. Again, B-Fab is the one that should be developed in this entire situation and scenario. Again, people might not care about it. I do. I actually like B-Fab. I like the way she talks, the way she presents herself, especially when she was the Street Profits. Again, Michin, I have no problem with her. It ain't personal. Again, I keep telling y'all, when I cover wrestling, it's never personal. It's storytelling. Again, I don't connect with Michin on the screen. Does she try to look cool with the kendo stick and the way she walks around and the way she talks? Yes, but it's just not translating, and I don't know why. Again, with B-Fab, it would be cool if we get the Street Profits back on TV and put them back together, because they did look good together when they were on TV. I have no idea what the Street Profits are. But again, the backstage segment was okay. Did I care about it? No. Did I like Jade Cargill's promo being more mean and presenting herself the way that she came off? Yes, I like that part. But other than that, I just didn't care about this feud overall. Because again, when all of these women are in the tag team division vying for the tag team titles, it's pushing the WWE Women's Championship aside, and it's making Jade Cargill look bad when she shouldn't look bad. She beat Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton has not been seen since. And because she has not been seen since then, they have done nothing with this women's division. They've done nothing. And it's a shame because right now, a lot of the women out on Raw could use this opportunity to, win the Women's United States Championship, make that championship a little bit more important, go after Jade Cargill and the WWE Women's Championship. Again, there are points of this show that don't make sense. If you're letting Raw talent go over to SmackDown, then why not have some singles competitors go over to SmackDown? I mean, listen, I know Jade Cargill's not the best in the ring. I like Jade Cargill. I like her development. I want to continue to keep going. Again, if you put somebody in the ring with her and her development, it'll go a long way. If she has another great dance partner, it's going to go well. Why not have Nikki Bella go over there and do something with Jade Cargill? She's the heel, right? Or do something. They could go back and forth on the microphone, do a promo. Even though I know Nikki Bella's a heel, do something different. I don't have Nikki Bella go after Chelsea Green. I have no idea. But just do something different on SmackDown with this women's division. Because, again, everybody's on Raw. And everybody's focused on the tag team titles that the women's championship across both brands are being neglected. This makes no sense. Jade Cargill needs better because right now, again, they're making her title reign look boring. And the people are going to start blaming her, saying that she's bad when she's not. She just needs a good dance partner. Next up, we get Lash Legend that makes her way down to the ring with Nia Jax. Then after that, Charlotte Flair and Bliss follow through. So at the end of this match, Charlotte Flair hit the natural selection for the win again. This was pretty much a decent match. Didn't really care for it again because, like I said, you have so many women competing for the tag team titles that it just takes away from the world title. Lash Legend is getting better, obviously, in front of my eyes. These are two women who are very, very tall, so the match is going to work out a little bit even. Again, it wasn't horrible or anything like that. It's just I'm still getting used to Lash Legend. Again, she was in NXT all this entire time, so I'm getting used to what she is. When she first came and debuted during Survivor Series, I said her theme song. It says Lash Legend, bougie, goes like that. So when it comes on, you're just not used to the song being on, but it's not bad. Like, I kind of get it now. It's just too silent. That's what it is. When Lash Legend comes out, it says Lash Legend, bougie, and then it's just silent. And whatever song is being rapped or whoever's rapping in the background, it's so silent you can't hear it. And then it goes back in, Lash Legend, bougie, and then it just keeps. So it's like this. The theme song is just too silent. Like, you can't hear it. You don't know what's being rapped. Unless you go on like YouTube and type in Lash Legend's theme song, then you'll understand what's being played. But other than that, it's like, what are they actually saying in the background? Where's the theme song? It's just not loud enough. So I don't have a problem with Lash Legend. Again, I'm getting used to Lash Legend. She was in NXT, like I said. So, again, Charlotte Flair, this was a decent match. It wasn't nothing special, but Charlotte Flair won the match. It was a decent match overall. We then see Nick Aldis in his office, and he tells someone that when he said make yourself comfortable, he didn't mean like that. It was basically Trick Williams. Had his feet up. Trick Williams then cackles, and he says, you are talking to him. Trick then says he had to put his shoes on the desk. Trick then says he wants to talk business. Trick then says Raw is handing him the bag, and he wants to know if Nick will match it. Cody Rhodes then shows up and asks Trick if he can give him and Nick a minute alone. Cody then asks if Drew apologized or paid the fine. Nick then says he is in the building, but he hasn't done it yet. Nick then says he is saying this as Cody's friend. Nick then tells Cody to control his damn emotions. Trick then re-enters and says he isn't done. He then mentions that what he has done in the ring and that he is the hottest free agent in the game. Trick then says if Nick makes the right decision, Cody should hold on to his championship tight. Now, I want to say one thing about this. Trick Williams looked great in this. Because here's my thing. If you're going to introduce Trick Williams to the main audience, even though he's been on the main roster, I think like twice. If you're going to introduce Trick Williams to the main roster, this is how you do it. And why? Because he's in the room. He's obviously quote the rookie, even though I don't like that. He's a rookie. So Cody Rhodes tells him, give us a minute. But Trick Williams is talking to Nick Aldis. This is his time. He barged in and says, give me a minute. So he walks away. But then after Cody Rhodes gets done talking the way they formatted it, he comes back in and says, no, I'm not done yet. Like, I'm trying to be nice, but no, you walking in when I'm talking, I'm not done yet, so I'm going to come back in. So he comes back in, and basically he starts, bragging about his accolades, but I thought this was a good representation of Trick Williams and showing how he is. He doesn't care if you're the WWE champion. All people say have some respect. And in wrestling, yeah. But as the heel that Trick Williams is, no. I'm talking. I'm here to make money. I'm the hottest free agent in the game. And you're the champion and you walk in here telling me to give you a minute when I was with the general manager. So then I leave. I reassess for a minute, and then when you're done talking, obviously, if you're booking it this way, then you come back in. It's like, no, I'm not done yet. I'm the hottest free agent in the game. Hold your championship tight if Nick Aldis makes the right decision. So I thought this presentation of Trick Williams was actually a good thing. They didn't just let him walk off the screen and not say anything else. The fact that he walked back to the screen and said, no, I'm not done yet, it was more powerful in his approach because the way Trick Williams talks, he's actually really good promo. He can actually cut a promo. He's very, very good at what he does. I like Trick Williams a lot. I think he's going to be fantastic. The only thing is, do you put him and Javon Evans on the same brand? I don't know. Do you call both of them up at the same time and put them both on SmackDown? Now, again, I think Trick Williams is probably going to be on SmackDown because he's married to Last Legend or engaged with Last Legend, so I don't think the company likes splitting up couples, so they'll probably be on the same show. But I thought this was a good look for Trick Williams to actually be face-to-face with Cody Rhodes and talk to him with confidence instead of cowering down being a quote-unquote rookie. This is actually really good by Trick Williams. Next up, we see Solo Sikoa in the back room, and he cuts a promo. Solo tells Uncle Howdy he thinks he has this all figured out. Solo then says, you talk about family, but you don't have one. Solo then says, you have men hiding behind their masks. Solo then says he has created a family. He says after that, they don't run from fear, they create it. Solo then says the fireflies are fading away. He then says the lantern is burning low. He then says those vacant souls that gave you purpose is on your hands. Solo then whistles and he starts to sing. Solo then chuckles. Again, Solo Sikoa cuts good promos. He's very, very good at promos. He's an entertaining personality. Here's my problem. Why are we wasting this on Uncle Howdy and the Wyatt Six? It's boring. It's not being booked properly. The Wyatt Six are not as over as they were before. And personally, I don't care about it. I like Solo Sikoa. Again, that match he had with Gunther really showed that he actually can wrestle. And the personality that he has when he cuts his promos is very, very good. Again, it makes no sense as to why they're wasting Solo Sikoa in the tag division or with the quote-unquote MFTs, even though I do like Tama Tonga and Tangaloa. Now, Tangalala, whatever you want to call him, no disrespect. Again, I say he's just too big to be in that group. Everybody else is short. He's just the tallest one, and they can't really do nothing with him. They can't really pin him. They can't do nothing with him. And JC Mateo is just there. He looks like the odd one out. They both look the odd ones out. Now, Tama Tonga and Tangaloa, they look fine or whatever, but with Solo, they should be wrestling for the tag team titles. And Solo Sikoa needs to, again, be in a title picture. Not necessarily being it all the time, but the United States Championship was taken off him for no reason. Sami Zayn, him beating Solo Sikoa for the championship, and then after that, having Ian Dragunov beat him, and then now we'll get to what happens later on, messed up a lot of this stuff. Solo Sikoa should really still be United States Champion, but I get it. Certain things happen for a reason, but Sami Zayn winning the United States Championship did not do Solo Sikoa any favors, because now if you put him back in the United States Championship slot against Carmelo Hayes, then what happens? Are you going to have Solo beat Carmelo Hayes? Like, what is going on? And then right now, I think it's too soon to put Solo Sikoa back in the WWE Championship picture against Cody Rhodes because we got that in SummerSlam in 2024. So it's like, what do you do? But all in all, Solo Sikoa, again, a good promo. Do I care about this Y6 thing business? No, I don't. It's not good. They need to move on and find something else for the MFTs to do because their feud with the Y6 ain't it. So we get Carmelo Hayes versus Ian Dragunov for the United States Championship. We're going to skip to the end. Hayes then gets to his feet. Both exchange chops until Dragunov takes control. Ian Dragunov then hits a Death Valley driver on the apron. Dragunov then goes to the top. He goes coast for coast, but Hayes hits the first 48. Hayes then goes up and hits nothing but net for the win. The winner of this match, the new United States Champion, is Carmelo Hayes. After the match, Ian Dragunov takes the belt from the referee. He puts it around Carmelo Hayes' waist and raises Carmelo Hayes' hand. Carmelo Hayes gets on the top rope. He gets on the rope. He holds the championship up, and they start celebrating. I thought this was good for Carmelo Hayes. He finally got a victory, something substantial and rewarding victory since he's been drafted again. I wish they did something with him earlier, but it's good to see him win the National Championship. This was a fantastic match. I'm just not a play-by-play person. This is a fantastic match in what they did. It was absolutely great. Near falls were great. Everything was great about the match. I'm glad Carmelo Hayes again won the United States Championship. I always say stuff about Ian Dragunov. I don't have anything personal against Ian Dragunov. I just don't understand his character. He has no character to me. He's a great wrestler with no character. So now that you have Carmelo Hayes, who is a bit cocky and brash, say I'm him and cut a great promo, I'm glad he won the United States Championship. The only one slight difficult thing I have with it is him winning the United States Championship on tape delay. That's the one thing I never liked in the business, is championships won on tape delay. I feel like it just takes away from the moment. Like, they're already champion, but you have to wait a whole nother week And it kind of messed up their title reign when it looks like, oh, he's been champion for 7 days, but because it didn't air yet, it doesn't count. So now it's like, oh, he's been United States champion for technically in WWE years, or WWE time rather, he's been United States champion right now for 1 day or for 1 night. But he's really held the championship for 7 days, so it's like, what really counts? You don't know. But that's just a little nitpicking here and there. But again, I'm glad Carmelo Hayes won. I know he's going to do a good thing. He's a great promo. I'm guessing now he's just a babyface now. So again, it'll be nice to see him go up against Aleister Black. It'll be nice to see him go against Solo Sikoa. Maybe go up against Sami Zayn if Sami Zayn wants to come back and do whatever. I don't know. Maybe see him go against Damian Priest, and not a U.S. Open challenge, but just something different. But I'm glad Carmelo Hayes won. He's very talented, a very, very talented superstar in the company. And I'm finally glad they gave him something, gave him the green light, and gave him something to do instead of being the #1 draft pick and having him continuously lose and lose for damn near a year in his feuds. And one thing I do want to say about this, hopefully we do not see him in The Miz. If you give The Miz one match against Carmelo Hayes, that's fine. But another rivalry, absolutely not. If you want to do a match, that's fine. One match and that's it. And have Carmelo Hayes go over for the United States Championship. But that is it. Do not have these guys go into the feud. That's one thing. As soon as he won, I said, do not put him in a feud with The Miz. If they're going to give him a match, do a match. But other than that, no feud. I don't want to see Carmelo Hayes and The Miz feud over again. But again, congratulations to Carmelo Hayes on the United States Championship. That was actually absolutely a great match. We then go backstage and see Bliss and Charlotte Flair walking in the back, and Alexa says it was nice to do what they did. Charlotte then talks about getting back the tag titles. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky show up. Rhea says they sound confident, but they have a tag title match coming up. Io then says the titles are going to stay with them. Lash Legend and Nia Jax then show up and yell. Everybody start yelling. Then Asuka and Kairi Sane show up and they start yelling in Japanese. Nick then stops them all and he says this chaos has gone far enough. He says next week it will be an 8-woman tag team match next week, and you can get the intense dislike out of the systems. Then they all started pushing each other again. I keep trying to tell you guys, when you're reviewing this and you're going over this, or you're watching this rather, as I'm watching it, the one thing I can say is, listen, I'm glad they're focusing on the women's tag team titles because they haven't done that since Sasha Banks and Bayley were the champions. So it's good on the company that they're doing this. But you're doing it with all the top talent in the company, which makes the other championships be neglected. I repeat myself every single week because it's the truth. You're neglecting the women's world titles for tag team titles for the past 6-7 years. You didn't give us enough to care about. That's the problem that I have with all of this. Now, if you have other women in the company who are not doing anything, and you have them in tag teams and doing this and bringing much needed attention to it, then fine. But you're taking all of the top women and putting them in the spot, and now both world champions have nothing to do. Because no disrespect to Raquel Rodriguez and Nikki Bella, Stephanie Valkyria is retaining the championship, and that's basically nothing to do. And that's not news. Stephanie Valkyria, they just throwing Raquel Rodriguez at her because they have nothing for her. And Jade Cargill, she currently has nobody except for Michin and B-Fab. I like B-Fab. I don't dislike Michin, but I don't care about the character. So again, these two women's world championships, or these two women's world champions, have nothing to do right now. And it just makes no sense. Again, it's good to see them care about the tag team titles, but they're neglecting both divisions. We see Kathy Kelly in the backstage area with Carmelo Hayes. Kathy congratulates Hayes on the win and asks how did it feel. Hayes then says he was delayed but not denied. Hayes then says he thanks Ian Dragunov for elevating the title and elevating him. Hayes then says the jerseys go back in the rafters. Johnny Gargano then attacks Hayes and says he took everything from him and ruined it. Okay, I had a problem with this. Let Carmelo Hayes enjoy his title win, but instead you have Johnny Gargano, who nobody cares about. And I know this has stemmed back from the whole Tommaso Ciampa thing. This was idiotic. Again, why aren't Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano going up the tag team titles? Why are they concerned about the United States Championship that has nothing to do with them? This makes no sense. I don't get it. Again, the crowd does not care about DIY. Or DUI, DIY, whatever you want to call them. The crowd does not care about this tag team. They don't care about Candice LeRae. They don't care about Johnny Gargano. They don't care about Tommaso Ciampa. They don't care about none of these people. They care more about Carmelo Hayes and As do I. I care more about Carmelo Hayes than them. They've done nothing with them. No matter how much you try to change their theme song, no matter how much you try to give them great matches, they can wrestle. They're really great, but nobody cares about DIY or DUI, whatever you want to call them. I'm making a joke there, but still, nobody cares about these guys. Again, I keep trying to tell you guys, besides this match really here in the last segment, stuff like this makes this show unwatchable. Why do I care about them beating this guy up backstage, beating Carmelo Hayes backstage? Why? For what? Because Tommaso Ciampa wants the United States Championship? For what? Go back to the tag team division like y'all were doing and getting no reactions like y'all were getting, because nobody cares about this tag team. Nobody does. Again, I don't understand the booking of this show. Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, tag team division, or split them up. Let Tommaso Ciampa be the heel that he was in NXT, but it's so many years removed. Would anybody even care? I don't think so. It was a boring segment. I don't know why they attacked Carmelo Hayes. They should have let him enjoy the United States Championship, but instead they ruined it with Johnny Gargano attacking him from behind. Makes no sense. We get Chelsea Green and Alba Fyre make their way down to the ring for the next match of the night versus Giulia and Kiana James follow up after that. Before we get into this match, my problem was that this match took place in the first place. Let's be honest. Nobody cares about Kiana James. Nobody cares about Alba Fyre. We care about Chelsea Green because she has a good personality and we like her. And then we care about Giulia because we want the company to stop treating her this way. Giulia, at the end of this match, hits the Northern Lights bomb for the win. The winners of the match is the beautiful madness of Giulia and Kiana James. This makes no sense. Again, I don't care about this match. I don't care about Kiana James. She does nothing. She walks around with a purse and a skirt on and does absolutely nothing. Alba Fyre, I don't care about her either. No disrespect. Giulia is the one I care about. I wish they would take this pairing away and split them up. Let Giulia be on her own. Let Chelsea Green be on her own. I don't understand the Secret Service. I don't care about it. Nobody cares about it. Again, it's not funny. It ain't good. I just don't get it. I don't get any of this and what they're doing in the company. I don't understand why this has to be a thing. The Women's United States Championship needs to be cared about more and done right by. And having a tag team match between these two teams that literally nobody cares about does nothing for me and nothing for the fans that are watching this. It was an okay match, but nobody cared, and I didn't care either. We go backstage and we see Kit Wilson from Pretty Deadly and Nick Aldis. We then see Kit Wilson in Nick Aldis' office. He says his New Year's resolution is to get rid of toxic masculinity, and he's looking for a new opportunity. Nick then tells Kit he will have a chance next week. I'll talk about him in a second. Cody then enters the room and asks Nick if Drew is here, if Drew has apologized to Dan Engler yet, which is the referee. Dan then says Drew hasn't apologized. Cody then says Drew is enjoying all of this. Cody then says it's his fault. While they continue to argue, Drew McIntyre's music hits, and he makes his way down to the ring. Nick then tells Cody to control his emotions and let him handle this. Nick and Dan then leave the backstage area. We get an Obafemi video package, which is actually a good video package for him. It is announced next week for the first 3-hour SmackDown of the year that Bliss, Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, and Asuka and Kairi Sane, Lash Legend, and Nia Jax will face off. Jade Cargill faces Michin in a non-title match, and if she wins, she gets a title match, which I don't understand why. Why would you have somebody face the champion, beat the champion, and then she goes for a title match, which I'm not saying this happened, but let's play hypothetical. Michin wins against Jade Cargill. Now, Michin is owed a championship match against Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill has the title on the line against Michin. She then beats Michin. What is the point of having the non-title match in the first place? It makes no sense for them to be facing off next week. It should be BFAB. This makes no sense at all. Now, when you look at Kit Wilson, I don't understand what they're doing. Who cares about his thing of toxic mess? Why is he still on TV? Why is he not on Main Event? He should not be on TV. I don't care about this dude. When Pretty Deadly were a tag team before the other dude got hurt, I don't know the other guy's name. Why do we care about Kit Wilson being on the show? Because he's funny. It's not funny. It's boring. And the most embarrassing part about all this entire show is, especially the beginning of when you saw Joe Hendry singing a Christmas carol to The Miz or whatever he was, Jingle Bells, and you have this thing where it's like, when somebody asks you, do you watch wrestling? And you say, yeah, it's kind of like the whole thing of you try to hide the fact that you watch wrestling, because if you tell people you watch wrestling, it's kind of embarrassing. I don't know if you guys remember when Vince McMahon had Scooby-Doo hop out of his mystery van on WWE Monday Night Raw like 10 years ago. And at that point, you're just looking at yourself like, man, this is really embarrassing to watch, especially as a grown man. But this is just ridiculous. This Kit Wilson and The Miz and the whole R-Truth thing and making these stupid jokes, it just makes the show look overall bad. It's not good. Kit Wilson, I don't know what it is. I don't care for him to be on the show. He does nothing. Pretty Deadly was boring when they were on the show. It just doesn't make any sense. Please stay off the show. It doesn't make any sense. Continuously keep booking this guy, and he's not even wrestling. He's not doing anything. It's just dumb. We then get Nick Aldis and Dan England making their way down to the ring. It joins Drew McIntyre. They join Drew McIntyre in the ring. Nick then tells Drew this situation has gotten way out of hand. Nick then says he's not going to put all of the blame on Drew. Nick then says Cody has also gone way over the line. Nick then says where this went far off the rails when you assaulted the man, pointing at Dan Engler. Drew then says he is a man of his word. Drew then gives Nick the check for the fine and tells him not to spend it all at once. Drew then tells Dan he is genuinely sorry he Claymore him in the face. So I thought that part was funny. Drew then says it kept him up for weeks, which I know he was lying. Drew then says he should have never attacked the referee and he apologizes. Dan accepts the apology and Nick thanks Drew McIntyre for the apology. Drew then says it wasn't easy. Drew then says it was Dan's dream to be a wrestler, but he wasn't good enough, so he had to be a referee, basically just putting this guy down. Drew then apologized to Dan's wife that she has to watch him Claymore her husband in the face, basically kick him in the face, and that her husband does not have the convictions that he has. Drew then says he gets why Dan did that. Drew then says he has to protect himself and Cody. Then Drew then apologized to Dan's children that they have such a coward corporate stooge as a father. Drew then says, do you want to hit him and get revenge on him now? Drew then tells Dan to do it. Cody's music hits and he interrupts. He says he makes his way down to the ring. Nick then tells Cody to calm down while Drew tells Cody to hit him. Drew then says he knows that Cody really wants to do that. Drew then says they want physicality. Drew then says you said you don't work for Nick, you work for the fans. Drew then asks the fans if they want Cody to hit him, and then they either don't realize the stipulation or just want someone to hit Drew. Drew then asks Cody if he wants to cry and shed those tears like a teenage girl trying to get daddy's credit card. Drew then says he knows why Cody's upset. Drew then says he attacked him on the tour bus. He says your family wasn't there when I attacked you. Drew then says he wished they were so that his children could see it, what it is like when a real man puts his boots to you. Drew then says he wishes that Brandy was there to see what a real man is like. Nick then starts to hold Cody Rhodes back. Drew then tells Cody Rhodes to do it. Drew then tells Cody the stipulation. Drew then says the match is taking place in Berlin since he screwed him 3 times in the U.S. Drew then says he versus Cody Rhodes in the 3 stages of hell match. This match hasn't been around in a long time. It's basically 3 stages of whatever that person picks. I know back then when you played like the WWE video games, you could pick the 3 stages of hell, and it's 3 straight matches, but like each match gets more intensified. I think the last match was like a steel cage or hell in a cell at that particular time, but basically it's going to be a 3 stages of hell match. Cody then accepts the stipulation. Drew then says there is one more thing. Drew then says when he tortures Cody in Berlin and sends him straight to hell, say hi to your dad for me. Cody then elbows Nick while Nick holds Cody Rhodes back. Cody then gets away from Nick Aldis and Drew McIntyre hits him with a Claymore. Drew then grabs the title belt and holds it high while standing over Cody Rhodes as the show comes to a close. Now for me, I thought this was good promo because I really enjoyed how Drew was able to just talking the whole time, being a cowardly heel and just saying all these things to the referee, basically putting him down, putting his career down, putting him down to him, talking about his wife, talking to his kids. After that, Cody Rhodes comes out. Then he starts talking down on Cody Rhodes. He talks about his wife. The only part where I thought This had to be approved by Cody Rhodes, was basically saying that his dad was in hell. Obviously, Dusty Rhodes passed away, God rest his soul, but still, this had to be touchy for Cody Rhodes because anytime anybody brings up Dusty Rhodes, Cody Rhodes does get emotional. So I kind of thought to myself, like, man, he really had to approve this in order for him to say it because of the emotion that would probably come from it. That's why I thought after he said it, right away he elbows Nick Aldis. He tries to get away, then he gets Claiborne, which is good because, again, Cody Rhodes doesn't touch Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre touches Cody Rhodes, and the contract's already signed. This was a great segment to end the show because at first, when they had Alba Fire come out and Chelsea Green, I thought that was ending the show. It was still like 20 minutes left in the show. I was like, there's no way that we just got done seeing Ian Dragunov and Carmelo Hayes. Then you put this match on. Now we're going to end the show with a women's tag team match that we don't care about? Absolutely not. But then I forgot, Drew McIntyre has to come out. So this was a great end of the show segment for this SmackDown. I know next week we're going to 3 hours, so the review's going to be even longer. But I thought this was a good main event. Again, Drew McIntyre was fantastic. Cody Rhodes was great in this as well. Both had basically a good back and forth, but it was really Drew McIntyre who really did a great job on the promo. Again, talking about the referee's family from attacking him, then talking about Cody Rhodes. Again, kudos to Cody Rhodes, by the way, because if somebody's going to say your dad's in hell, you got to be able to be like, you know what? He is a professional, so I'm not saying it wouldn't be hard, but just to say that line and hear somebody say that can be kind of triggering when you lose a parent or something like that, or you lose anybody, rather. But so for Cody Rhodes to be able to go through that, I commend him for it because that could be a bit touchy for him. Other than that, this show was absolutely not good. Again, it wasn't as bad as last week because I felt like this week went a lot faster. The pace was a lot faster. There was a lot more commercials in this too. That's why I felt kind of long with on the commercial end. But just as far as the show went and the taping was, it kind of went faster than it did last week. Make sure you guys know that next week, again, the show is going to 3 hours, which is like, man, like why? But to me, it's for more money. People won't tell you the truth, but it's for more money, more ad revenue. This show going 3 hours makes no sense, especially the way it's being booked now. You're going to give us another hour of bad booking. It's just not a good thing for this show. They need to make some call-ups, and it needs to happen right away. They need to start rewriting these shows in a better spot. They need to make Jade Cargill seem more important. Now that Carmelo Hayes is United States champion, he needs to be more important. They need to bring up more heels for Cody Rhodes to face for the rest of his title reign, at least going up into WrestleMania, because hopefully he keeps the title up into WrestleMania like I want him to and face CM Punk. But that's for another time. Before I go, please hit the like button, subscribe button to the YouTube channel. We're trying to grow over here. If you liked the review, please hit a thumbs up. Let me know in the comment section down below how you felt about tonight's show. Was it fast-paced? Did you like it? What didn't you like? Do you think the show should go to 3 hours? Let me know in the comment section down below. Again, hit the like button, subscribe button to the channel for more great content coming up. Until next time, guys, see you real soon.